Titans were always considered to be mindless beasts, up until the people saw Eren able to control his Titan. These ideas strengthened among the people as Wall Maria fell, and even more so after Eren learned how the Titans probably killed humans just for the sake of it. The mysteries surrounding their origins were something everyone wanted to know, but no one craved it as much as Hanji. Thanks to her strong desire to unearth secrets, we got to find out about the existence of a talking Titan, as one of the earlier OVAs introduced us to a character named Ilse Langnar, who recorded her experiences in a notebook. The actions of the talking Titan presented Titans to us in a whole new light, and it made us wonder more about how its anatomy worked and how it came to be. In today's video, we'll take a dive into the existence of this unusual Titan and get to the bottom of why it's so important and how its anatomy plays a major role in the story. Who is the Talking Titan? How did they become a Titan? So, we know about Ymir from the Survey Corps being the shifter for the Jaw Titan. Unlike the other shifters of Eren's generation, however, Ymir originally belonged to a different generation. 60 years prior to the battle at Utgard Castle, where we found out about Ymir being the Jaw Titan, Ymir was a nameless Eldian girl living in Marley. She was poor, homeless, and had resorted to begging. It had been around 3 decades since the fall of the Eldian Empire and the rise of Marley. The Eldians, who stayed back in the mainland and were confined within Marley's internment zone, or Liberio, grew up to anti-Eldian propaganda that stated how the power of the Titans came to be when a little girl made a deal with the devil. At the same time, some Eldians secretly harbored the desire to revolt and restore Eldia to its glory. They preached that the little girl was none other than a benevolent and omnipotent goddess. Today, we know this person to be Ymir Fritz. The nameless girl at some point was given the same name as the founder of her subjects by an Eldian in Marley. She was gifted with food, clothes, and a bed. In return, she had to be a figurehead of a cult where she would be worshipped. This cult was probably a type of restorationist organization whose members believed this Ymir to be the reincarnation of the original Ymir Fritz. Unfortunately, word leaked about the existence of the cult, and the Marleyan public security went after them. In the end, Ymir and her worshippers were caught, paraded around on the streets, stoned by the people, and then taken to the port or the border near Paradise Island. At the border, each of them had Titan serum injected into them, and they were kicked down to the ground. Being subjects of Ymir, the Titan serum caused everyone, including Ymir, to turn into pure Titans. In their new form, they were immortal unless someone killed them by slicing off their napes. Acquiring this form resulted in most of the cultists and Ymir mindlessly roaming outside the walls for years. One of the members of the cult, who was turned into a pure Titan during the fiasco, later went on to become the Talking Titan that we see in the OVA about Ilse Langnar and her notebook. Unlike most of the iconic Titans, shifters and pure Titans included, the Talking Titan never appeared inside the walls, but was intercepted during one of its expeditions carried out by the Survey Corps 5 years after the fall of Wall Maria. What kind of Titan is the Talking Titan? How can it talk in the first place? Sometime in Season 1, we see Hanji arrive with 2 pure Titans who the Survey Corps has managed to capture, introducing us to Sani and Bean. But the Corps getting their hands on pure Titans for Hanji's studies is no coincidence, as they have been trying to pull off this feat for a while now. Prior to the capture of Sani and Bean, Hanji, Levi, Erwin, and other Survey Corps members from their generation carried out an expedition during the same timeline as the events of Attack on Titan's first 3 seasons. Outside the walls, Hanji spotted a funny-looking pure Titan whose head was disproportionately large in comparison to its body. She got the Titan's attention and made it chase her away from the forest of giant trees, hoping to get it close to their base outside the walls. The Titan took the bait for a while until it seemingly realized that it was being made to leave the forest for the sake of its prey. While the average pure Titan was more or less mindless and would never reconsider its actions, this Titan was different. Naturally, Hanji and the others were perplexed when the Titan decided to give up on the chase and ran back to the forest. The Survey Corps went after the pure Titan, and Hanji noticed that it was following a specific path instead of running irrespective of direction like the average Titan. At the same time, some of the other members of the Corps classified it as an abnormal, not because it did anything similar to what other abnormal Titans do, but its more sentient acts made it different from the standard pure Titan. While pondering over why a Titan would take specific actions like this one, Hanji chased the Titan down to a tree. To her surprise, the Titan intentionally struck its head on the bark of the tree quite a few times while sporting an expression of bewilderment. As Hanji inched closer, it tried to kill her, but was ultimately taken out by Levi. Hanji was disappointed by its death, but the members present there were quick to notice a gaping hole on the tree's bark, which the Titan had created, or rather, reopened with his head. Within that cavity rested the headless body of a Survey Corps member, who was quickly proven to be someone with a knack for writing her experiences down. Hanji read through the events Ilse had written about, where the latter spoke about being part part of the 39th expedition outside the walls, which resulted in her losing all of her crewmates and her horse. At the same time, her ODM gear was broken and she was stranded in enemy territory. She obviously tried to return to her home within the walls, but in the forest of giant trees, she was intercepted by the Titan Hanji was trying to capture. It attacked Ilse, but she fearfully dodged it and sat underneath a tree. With no access to weapons or any way to fight the monster, Ilse recorded all of her experiences to be able to help humanity in the future. She knew she was done for when the Titan faced her and was about to attack her, but what happened next was shocking. After inching closer to Ilse's face, the Titan spoke. It uttered the phrases "subjects of Ymir" and "Lady Ymir" before it bowed to Ilse and welcomed her back. The talking Titan was one of the cultists who, back in the day, was turned into a Titan and, as a result, roamed outside the walls. Having come across a woman who looked similar to the one he used to worship, the Titan was able to access some of its past memories that it should have forgotten as a pure Titan. While this is the narrative reason behind the Titan speaking, there could be an anatomical explanation as well. Every single Titan is created in the Paths realm by Ymir Fritz. Because time works painfully slow there, Ymir takes a lot of time to create a Titan from scratch for her subjects to be able to use, even when the transformations in the physical world are almost always instant. This also explains why certain Titans, such as the Shifters, are so intricately crafted. Meanwhile, the less important Titans, such as the Pure Titans, look like an elementary school biology project, most probably due to Ymir not being able to spend too much time in creating a fodder Titan with no goals. This also results in most Titans, especially Pure Titans, not being able to speak, because for them to be capable of speech, they would need to have the appropriate anatomy. However, it's not like Ymir creates every pure Titan without the ability to speak. The anatomical structuring may just be a poorly executed one, that's all. This is probably what allows the Titan to speak upon seeing someone who looks similar to Ymir, because all Titans, and by extension subjects of Ymir, have access to the Paths realm. The talking Titan could have acquired or remembered some of its older memories. When Ilse realized that this Titan was one of a kind, she began to ask it questions about the motives of the Titans. Strangely, the Titan began clawing at its own skin, possibly to prevent or hinder his primal desire to eat Ilse. Because he had confused her with Ymir, the Titan did not want to kill her. A few moments later, however, it got a hold of Ilse and only decapitated her with his mouth before storing her body within the cavity of the tree. Why did the talking Titan confuse Ilse with Ymir? Is it related to its anatomy? Coincidentally, Ilse Langner looked quite similar to the Ymir from Marley, as the two of them had similar face shapes, hair color, skin tones, and even freckles. Pure Titans do not hold on to their sentience, but it is evidently not impossible for one of them to act slightly more human. We see something similar with Connie's mother, who welcomed him back in her Titan form after Connie visited Ragako village. This tells us that if the person in front is close to a pure Titan, it is not entirely impossible for the latter to exchange a word or two with said close person. Like Connie and his mother, the talking Titan probably had a very strong relationship with the Marleyan Ymir and deeply worshipped her, which gave him the power or ability to communicate with Ilse. Is the talking Titan as powerful as the other Titans in the series? On average, Titan shifters are significantly more powerful than pure Titans. They have a plethora of abilities with their selective hardening, steam emission, and more. What makes them formidable, however, is how they manage to retain their intelligence. On the flip side, we have pure Titans, who are essentially glorified zombies. They move, run, walk, chase, and eat their prey without thinking about what they're doing. Their strength lies in their size, their ability to not die unless the nape is sliced, and because the technology within Paradise is primitive enough for us to correlate it with the steampunk aesthetic of the show. So the talking Titan is easily one of the weaker Titans, even among other pure Titans. Not all of them look similar, but some pure Titans, such as Dina's smiling Titan, are more proportionate and proper, to say the least. It is also as tall as a Titan shifter. Meanwhile, the talking Titan is pretty disproportionate and only 6 meters in height. The imbalance that comes from having a head that's almost 1/4 the size of its body should affect its mobility and ability to move negatively. It also gets killed by Levi in one shot. The only thing that made it formidable in front of Ilse was her lack of resources. If we created a Titan hierarchy, we would put the founding Titan at the top, the Titan shifters below the founder, the wall Titans below the shifters, and the pure Titans at the bottom. And with the talking Titan being a poor form even among the pure Titans, it would unfortunately belong somewhere at the bottom of this pyramid. In a fight against the average pure Titan, the talking Titan is likely to lose. In fact, most of the pure Titans are often perceived to be part of the 8 to 9 meter classes, which is still taller than the talking Titan by a good few meters. What makes the Talking Titan so important to the series? The Ilse's Notebook OVA was created during a time when we knew absolutely nothing about the truth of the Titans. In fact, neither did the characters. What we knew was that the Titans committed mass slaughter and ate people for no apparent reason because they did not need nutrition and they didn't even have excretory organs, so they just regurgitated their prey out. The Titans were also considered to be natural predators that had just begun to exist out of nowhere. Despite them looking somewhat human, the characters avoided the possibility of pure Titans having been humans at some point. Around this time, no one in the Corps knew about Eren being a Titan either, so they didn't expect that humans could turn into Titans. All in all, the mysteries surrounding the nature of the Titans were thick. The introduction of the Talking Titan allowed everyone to see something human within them, not just because it was talking, but because of what it was saying. The expression of respect and welcoming someone back was confusing. Around this time, Hanji was also being discouraged by the others from capturing a Titan for her studies. Having read Ilse's notebook and the unusual incident, however, Hanji was able to get Erwin's approval in conducting an expedition just for the sake of capturing Titans. She came up with a foolproof method that ensured the entrapment of Titans without having to sacrifice human life in the process. This technique was later used to capture Bean and Sonny, and then Annie. Had Bean and Sonny never been captured and subsequently killed by Annie, it would have become far more difficult for Armin to deduce the female Titan's identity without having to rely on his hunches. Annie killing the Titans and then swapping her ODM gear out was what confirmed Armin's theory that she was the female Titan. With time, we were introduced to other Titans, and they were capable of speech. Unlike the Talking Titan, however, the likes of the Beast and the Warhammer could participate in proper speech, and smoothly too, instead of having to stumble across their words. The Talking Titan suddenly being able to recognize someone from its past could just also point to its connection to the paths, because it might have received an influx of its own memories instead of just remembering something it never forgot. More importantly, it introduced us to the concept of subjects of Ymir, which is undoubtedly one of the most critical points in Attack on Titan's story. Every little thing in this narrative adds up to create a big impact, and these things were only able to take place because of the Talking Titan's unusual anatomy, even among those of its kind. Had it been more anatomically advanced, the mysteries would have become slightly easier to solve, which wouldn't be as interesting as being in the dark due to the out-of-context spoilers we got. Marvelous verdict! Although OVAs are not part of the main story written by Isayama, they are considered to be canon, not just because they tie into the main story, but because they are considered to be part of it, and even alluded to in the manga. The best thing about the Talking Titan is how, despite being a very minor character, its existence and odd behavior result in so many other incidents, as it gives the Survey Corps a rejuvenated motivation for conducting experiments on Titans. And with that, today's video comes to an end. We hope you liked it, and if you did, don't forget to comment down below and share your thoughts. Until the next one, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.